Nike is down 75% from the 2021 peak. That's the largest drawdown in the company's history. The stock is sitting at a multi-year low around $41, while On and Hoka keep eating its running market share. Here's the catch. Even after that crash, Nike still trades at 25 times forward earnings. The price came down. The multiple didn't. Today, after the close, Wall Street expects a rough quarter, but here's the real mismatch. Options are pricing an 8% move on earnings, and Nike has averaged nearly 12% over its last 8 reports and missed that implied move 5 out of 8 times. Analysts are slashing price targets left and right into the print. So are the options too cheap? Let's check it out on this edition of Options Math Check. So Jermal, I know you and I are both Nike bulls. I think you might be wearing Nike.
I am today, actually. Yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Gotta have on,
That's
gotta have the Jordans
what we
on.
call
No question.
putting your
Product placement.
feet into shoes where you want your money to be.
No doubt.
But yeah, I mean, this thing is at 12-year lows. It's down at 41. We haven't seen 41 since September of 2014. If you look at a weekly chart anywhere. But yeah, I think it's interesting. And we both have leaps in here just because the farther this thing fell, we were like, well, I don't think this company's going anywhere. So we bought the 60 strike Jan 2028 long call, just playing for a reversal from 40 up to like 50, 60, which is just a small chunk of this fall that it's had. And if that's the case, that option will probably triple in price. But looking at these options markets here, $3.50 implied move, pretty close to 10% of the stock price here, which is pretty high for earnings. But I think the story for me is $3.50 implied for 2 days, only $4.30 implied for 17 days, and only $5 for 52 days. So you could see this is kind of like a make or break situation for Nike with so much implied volatility in the weekly cycle relative to August or even September here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the story here is really, is this still a leader? And it is. That's the thing about it. I know the stock is cratered. It's been beat up more recently. Look, you can't control that. I mean, nobody can. But the reason why it's an interesting play, and again, I should say I rolled down my calls more recently to the 50 strike, so still in that same expiration as you, but rolled down to get more delta. When I look up, the number one thing that I do is I immediately question whether or not what's Nike's place in the shoe world, and they're still number one by market cap. They're the largest still. They're 61 billion. Adidas is second at 36 billion. ASICS of all things is third at 19 billion. Deckers is fourth, and On Holdings is fifth. Nice for Roger Federer, but it's still the leader. And so for me, that makes it an interesting, compelling trade. It's down on its luck, and it's still the leader. Is it going back to 170? I don't know the answer. I'm just betting on whether or not it can at least get to 60 or maybe double from where it is right now and get to 80, right? Like, that's just the idea. I mean, I think it's been, I don't dive into the thesis of many companies as much as I used to once upon a time, but I mean, I would imagine they've had struggles probably with sales in China. That's one of their bigger markets. I'm imagining that's what's going on. Domestically, it's interesting because I mean, I feel like people still rock a lot of Nike apparel, but you could argue that things like Under Armour and ALO have kind of eaten into that. People don't wear just straight up Nike sweats as much as they used to. You have many other options. So I'm sure that's playing a part, even though it's interesting. Those are not in the top 5, the 2 names that I just mentioned. So I still think it's fascinating and it's worth a play because Nike is still the number one shoemaker, if you will. It's not just apparel. And I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, for sure. I think the U.S. market is strong. It's really the other international markets that are suffering, maybe some supply chain issues overseas and things like that. But still, a September 80-day 40 strike call is $400. It's probably going to open near that price. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the 2-day, like, this is a ton of premium. A 40 strike call for $4 80 days out. And then you look at the 40 strike call 2 days out, and it's trading for like $3. It's the differential here it's pretty staggering. So I think I'm going to go into something like this, like a 40 strike long, selling the 44 or the 45, picking up the 90 cents or 65 cents for the 2-day cycle. And if we get a rally, it'll be a $200-$300 winner. If not, I can roll that into July monthly, then August, and eventually we'll just be left with the September long if it doesn't work out. But I imagine if it doesn't work out today, it might not ever work out. So just keeping the risk real small here. But that's probably what I'll do. Upside diagonal spread.
And I like being further out too in this name, just because it could take some time. I mean, you know, when you see a chart like that, such a swift fall, I shouldn't say swift. It's been like a 4-year pullback, a strong pullback, and I just want to give it some time to sort of work, I would say. So that's why I think this is a use case for why longer term options help you out. I mean, this is not a 0-day situation. This is definitely going to take some time.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Let us know what you think in the YouTube comments and the chat as well.